in the principle of accepting ourselves as we are. And in order to gain the wisdom of a deeper understanding of what we are, we need to understand, what does the ego do when he has all this power inside him and he doesn't know how to manage it? These forces inside you that drive you to become crazy sometimes, but most of the time just to behave in society. You have powers inside you that push you in certain direction. And these are I would say, the roles that you play. And we play an awful lot of roles. We have a lot of masks. But we will tend to play roles that we can classify in 3 categories. When we hurt people, when we are hurt, and when we try not to be conscious of the suffering. So let's classify the 3 major categories of the masks of the ego. 3 roles. Persecutor. Persecutor. Then there's the savior and the victim. Now, do I put the roles before the tools in the tree? Do I say power control and installation? Oh. Roles first, okay. So usually these ego masks are all around a core, okay, which is the true experience of what we are. So, persecutor is when we simply don't know, and we have desires inside, we feel abandoned, we feel rejection, and we have forces that because we don't want to see it, because of denials, we're just pushed. We want to resolve the issues. We don't know how. So we just go AWOL, crazy. We just shoot everywhere and we hurt others. Okay? So by hurting others, we're persecutors. Persecutors is the behavior that we take because we want to be right. Okay? Let's say you say, I'm not a persecutor, I'm not hurting anyone. Well, each time you try to be right, you are ready to put some force on a situation to be right. You know, that's persecution. Okay? That's trying to apply force on a situation to make it different than what it actually is. Okay? Because we're unsatisfied with the truth anyway. We're mostly unsatisfied with the illusion. So we will apply force. Persecution, okay, is not the wish to hurt others. It's the I don't really give a shit what the other feels, so I'll do it. Okay, it's some kind of indifference without compassion where we don't mind the side effects of what we're doing. We just go out there and we try to do our best because this is what we know how to do it with. We have this anger inside, we have these suffering inside, and we're just going to go all out trying to resolve these issues. And we persecute. A persecutor. Someone is not a persecutor because he really wants to hurt others. A persecutor is someone who is hurt and doesn't know any other way to manage it. So it just throws out that power. Okay? That anger, that hatred. And then, of course, that nourishes the fundamental guilt of existing. I'm a bad person. When you start to notice the suffering that came out of this persecution. So what happens? Then you say, okay, I have to act differently. If you're a persecutor and you start to change roles, you might try to compensate for the evil you did and you're going to become a savior. Or you're going to use that. I did so evil, you know, I did drugs, I stole, I'm so bad, I need help, save me. And you're a victim. Okay? So, persecutor is just, we're trying to adapt. sometimes, let's give a definition of what is a role. Sometimes you act in society, and especially in the teenagers, when we really develop these roles much more than the youth. We just don't know how to act in society. Remember that? So how should I act? What's the good thing to do? How do I behave? So we're not doing what we are inside. We're not doing what we authentically want to do. We're doing something in function of the others. What is the way to go about it? So you put on a mask and you're not yourself anymore because you're trying to adapt to society, and you've got pride right there. So the roles is this reflex of thinking in function of the impression you give to others, of how much resource you can take from the outside and bring in. Okay, it has to do with physical resource, also love and affection and tenderness and whatever you want in life. Okay, so we have this force trying to get us to interact with others. We have no idea how to interact with others, so we have to pretend that we know, when actually we don't. Okay? So this is pretending that we know, because we love to be right, so we have to know already. You know, life, you go through it to learn how to live, but you have to pretend like if you already knew, but you don't, so you just screw up. And we tell you so you feel guilty. All right, yes, all these masks all have interaction with every other mask, depending on each situation. I give an idea, like we don't know how to act, so we pretend, we screw up, we get told that we were bad in the way we acted with these roles, so we feel guilty. It doesn't mean it's like that each time. Some other person would use these roles and would not feel guilty, but reject it. I tried my best and they did not acknowledge how good I was. Rejection. Okay, so for another it's rejection. Okay? We all have different experiences of all these masks interacting together. There's no fixed formula or rule. Right? So the persecutor is your first way of going about it. Until you have suffered, you have no idea what suffering is, so you just do it. Teenagers that revolt. We say teenagers always revolt, they go against the system. No, they don't. They don't give a shit about the system. But they're not against it, they don't care. Teenagers do not revolt because of a reaction to any system. They know the system is bullshit anyway. They know it doesn't really matter. And they have this authentic soul impulse of freedom. I know I was born God, free, and I can do whatever I want. So you just go and you do it. And then the people encased in the system say that's bad because he's not in the system. Shit, he doesn't know. It's like asking a baby to walk 5 months and a half and is still not walking. Well, he's not there yet. He's not revolting against walking. He's just incapable, of doing it. So in teenagers, we're not against the system. The system is not absorbed yet. And thank God we try to, delay that as much as we can. But the more we delay the adaptation to the system, the more suffering we also have. Because when we're out of the system, we're automatically labeled persecutors. Sometimes we're just free. Okay? And we do our best. So when you were a teen, were you the victim or the persecutor? There's very little saviors in teenagers. There's the persecutors that piss off everyone, the bullies and stuff. And there's the victim, whoever is submitted to the power of a persecutor with more power. Or sometimes you have changing roles. Let's say a teenager goes to school and he pisses off all the children around. He goes home and gets beaten. Now he's the victim because the persecutor is the father. So he's showing this kid how to act in society, and that's how the system will work. Let's say that you're a savior at your job because you have to resolve everything. So you're a savior. And you play the victim of being a savior because I have to do everything, yes, but you love it. So you're a savior, pretending to be the victim, but you're a savior because you really enjoy, being all that pride. And you go home, and at home you play the victim. I had to do everything. Oh, thank you, darling, for the foot massage. Are you going to cook me? Can I have a blowjob afterwards? Oops, inappropriate words. So, you play the victim of how hard you work. I mean, did you ever come back from work and say, I was so good today at work? No, because the people will feel like persecutors. Oh, he feels good, you get to cook. No, you're the one, he's so wonderful. I mean, I feel like crap and he's so wonderful. They're going to play that game that you should have. So, to push chores on you. So, these roles, we use them in ways to be more Cupid, lazy, and gluttony. To manage the workload and who gets the resources or not. Because the Savior will be inclined to give resources to get attention from the victim who says, thank you, I love you so much. Yes, I still love you, dear. So the roles are about emotional transactions with other people. Okay? Two persecutors together doesn't work. Two saviors doesn't work. Two victims doesn't work. So at one point, the one with the less pride will change role, will adapt to the other, to keep continuing in that relationship. Okay? Yeah. Two people with pride are saviors, and the one with less pride or less wrath, less power of affirming himself, will just say, okay, I'm going to lose, and if I want to keep this energy going, this attention flowing in both ways, I need to become the victim that he seeks, because he won't become my victim. He might instead become my persecutor. So I'm going to adapt before I piss him off and he starts to hurt. Okay, so all these roles were constantly changing. So you're not living a single role in your life. It's minute per minute. It's the moment the situation changes, woof, you adapt. Okay, you adapt because you know how to manipulate people. Because we love doing that. So, is it cool with the masks? Okay, we act in ways and you think, oh, I'm a victim of life. Well, now, we just have to find a situation for you to be this persecutor or a savior, and you'll see that you're that too. Okay? I've seen an awful lot of victims today that are my preferred saviors. I call them your teachers. There was a time, oh Maha, save me from myself, Maha. And after like 1 year, everyone needs to know that, and whoosh. So until you finally master the art of compassion, I will use your mask to get you to teach that, because the wisdom must flow. The show must go on. All right. And then you get to the 8 boomy and you don't give a shit about anything and you stop teaching. Another teaching. Okay. So the 3 tools we use to be a persecutor, a savior, or a victim. I'll write them, but I want you to understand this. This feeling. We'll deliver these in a moment. Okay. I want you to understand this feeling, that this force that drives us, that seems to be stronger than we are. You think that this force is going on inside you only once in a while when you get very angry and I did something I should not have, I said something I should not have. Okay, so you think that sometimes this power comes in and then it settles. Well, I have news for you. You are almost constantly, if you are not in a state of enlightenment or bliss, you are driven by a force that you ignore. It's just that there's nothing to prove it. There's no event to contrast it, to show you that you're presently right now motivated by something stronger than you. Most of you right now don't want to find happiness. You want to find how to stop suffering. Okay, you're not doing it because you want to be enlightened. You just want to stop not being enlightened. Okay? Because there's much suffering in there. Okay, so and by the way, there's no way I can explain to you how to enlighten. but I can explain you how to stop not being enlightened. Okay, that's the word. What keeps you out of enlightenment? So you have energies right now and forces of nature right now pushing you to do stuff and to say things, and right now is to listen, of course. And right now it's mostly a desire to know and understand. But the moment you have a break, all your masks, all your behaviors, all your reasons to say this or that to every other neighbor all pop back up. But it doesn't seem bad because everybody agrees. Everybody is happy with that. But there's a reason why you're behaving like you're behaving right now. You're not making choices. You have this impulse of, I want to go and talk to this person. You know? I want to love them. I want to feel loved by them. You have these forces that drive you right now. During the weekend, during the entire boot camp, you'll have them. Okay? And it's okay. It's okay. You're made like this. I just want you to know that you're still not free of the dream, of the drama. Okay? Even after awakening, even until the 10th booming, these forces are inside you and they push you to live experiences and motivate you. And the moment something changes in your environment, bang, you got a response. That happens. Look at this fact. The moment something changes in your environment, the moment your lover or your friend says something, your roommate takes a place in the bed, immediately you have something that moves you. You're not making a pure, clear choice as a soul. You have something that moves you. Oh, okay, he took that place, I'm going to take the other. It's not a choice, I'm taking that place. It's, I have to adapt. Am I going to be persecutor and say, no, I wanted that place? A savior, oh, it's my pleasure to leave it to you. Or a victim, I have no choice to take that one. But you understand what I mean? What you do, you don't do it purely out of choice. You do it because you constantly have these forces driving you. Okay? So to think that you're already freed, that's pretty arrogant. Okay, like Carlos telling me, I have done everything, I'm good, everything is resolved. You know, of course, he got to a very holy state at one point when he reached 8th Bhumi, like everything was done, I'm okay. I've integrated, pretty much everything is done. Yeah, well, at that point, maybe. He had a state of being that the ego did not know how to manage. He was in a state of perfection. It didn't mean that he had resolved everything. It meant that he knew that he was perfect. Then the ego uses this to say, there's nothing else to do. Okay, it's a misunderstanding of the experience. He still got to the state of Buddhahood in a state of pure perfection. That's cool. And then he had to exist here and be a victim and serve your, sometimes persecutor. Okay. So the tools, okay? So now you're going to be a persecutor, a savior, or a victim. And you think it's about beating up someone or making sure to heal their wounds, or you are the wounded one because you tried to find yourself a persecutor to beat you. Sometimes we do that, of course. These three masks are so subtle, they're just sneaking in the choice of the place in the beds during boot camp. They're sneaking in the place you find in line when you go to get the food. Okay, you have these forces so subtle, constantly pushing you and moving you. And you will still have these forces forever because they are wonderful forces. It's how God created you. It's okay. But while you're unconscious, you're not free. Pure freedom as a soul is to be in a state of compassion and understand, why are you going to eat that food or that food? Why are you going to take this or that place in your assigned room? So that others will be happy in a state of service. And also to make sure you will be happy, and everything is done compassionately for everyone to be happy. Okay? You're not constantly in that pure state of freedom. You have an awful lot of power driving you. Just stay conscious of that. Power, control, and manipulation. Oh we love those. Okay, power is when you're innocent and you really don't know anything about the manual of how to live. So you just go and you take it. And if you resist, you punch his face and take it. Okay, so power is the pure application of force. Why? Because you know yourself to be God. Actually, you don't know yourself to be God, but you are. Acting in the divine right, everything is permitted, and everything is owed to me, the single being of the universe. We all feel like God. And then we act in a divine fashion from a separated point of view. I am God, you owe me. Paf. And we discover suffering of separation. So because of that, we discover that we are not God. Okay? Actually, we are divine in nature, but from a single point of view. So we have individuality, my point of view. Okay? And this individuality is a cause of suffering because we're separated. Until we get to the awakening, the final awakening, that we are all things perceived from that point of view. To be everything observed from a localized experience, instead of being an individual separated being. Okay? Oneness and still be isolated in locality. Okay? That's how to combine nature and divine self. Okay. Power is to hurt someone. I was like going Buddhahood teachings and stuff. Control. Power didn't work. Hey! And you try to force. Control is trying to hold on. Okay? So power is simply egocentrically or arrogantly just go in and impose yourself. Okay? In a certain way. And believe me, there's a way for a victim to use power as a method. Okay? You made me do that! And you get the blood from the victim going, look at what you made me do! Okay, you're a victim of, and you still use power. You know, there's this crazy combination. It exists. Sometimes. Hopefully not here now. Because we do have a knife that's pretty scary. That is hidden somewhere. Alright. So, power is to apply that force bluntly. Control is when we see power didn't work. We try to, work our way. Okay, just boom, one hit won't work. Let's try to, structure things, keep it under control, apply continuous, determined for a force that will continue, persevere. Now, sometimes out of control it doesn't work. Okay, one explosive blast didn't work. A progressive application of force still doesn't work. We're going to go and manipulate. Let's find a way to just screw it out of them. Let's find a way to get it without their knowledge. Or, manipulation. You know manipulation. When hitting them in their face didn't work. When trying to impose laws and rules didn't work. Manipulation is trying to make the other believe they will have benefits out of that. Even though they probably won't. Okay? Because then it's not manipulation, it's good business. You're going to get this benefit, I get benefit, let's do that. Okay, that's good business. But trying to find a way to pretend the other should behave in our way because it's just better for them, it's manipulation. Okay? And of course in manipulation sometimes there's hiding. We don't want to be honest and expose our plan. Just going to do something because especially when there's a lot of parties involved, a lot of people involved, we will just pull strings in various ways to make sure everyone thinks everything is perfect until you end up with what you wanted. And then they find out and you become the victim of a persecutor. Well, that's life. You can't just go and screw people. So power didn't work. Control didn't work. It seemed to work for a while, but actually you see there's no result. So you try manipulation, and for a great while you think you get what you needed. But even manipulation, in the end, when the others find out, they always find out. Well, it's truth will make sure stuff happens in this life or the other. There's karma also that will make sure you understand. So manipulation in the end doesn't work. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to find integrity, to be honest and accept not to always have what you want and stuff like that. Okay? But until we get to the wisdom of integrity, the ego just wants to use these tools. I'm going to apply force in various ways, in a blunt way, in a controlled fashion, in a systemized way, in a manipulation fashion, like hiding in the shadows. Okay? So, manipulation is extremely subtle. Have you manipulated this morning? I acknowledge that I have attempted a manipulation this morning. And if I know myself that I lost it to a force of nature at one point, probably you did 100 times and just didn't know it. Okay. What was your manipulation, Maha? Of course, I have to be the one to defeat my shame. Well, it had to do with having breakfast and finding ways for others to prepare it for me. Yes. Because sometimes I teach to people how to be in service. You know, I have all these bees around me that just want to provide me all what I need. And then from the perspective of those who don't know me, they think I have enslaved them. That's not the case. They asked me, I want to learn how to be a spiritual master. So I say, well, I'm going to teach you how to be in the service of others. So you're going to be in my service. Not a lot, but just enough. Okay? So I teach people to discover how to be in service by being in service to me. And when they really grasp it, I never ask barely anything to these people anymore. Because I see them run to make sure everyone else is fine. And then they do my job. Because I'm at their service. I'm constantly finding ways for you to evolve. Trying to find ways for you to adapt. Provoking experiences for you to just grow out of that. Okay? So that's because I learned how to be in service. I was in service to my spiritual master. But this morning, I didn't do it, but I did have the thought of asking something to someone. Lucille, actually. When it was not in order to bring her an awakening, it was purely to get my breakfast done. So I shut up and I did it myself. But I was going to ask her. You remember, I was there and you actually, I had my thing and you took it out of my hand because she really wants to help me. But I was about to say, well, okay, well, do this and do that and bring it in that way. And she would have loved doing my breakfast with you. But because she would not have grown out of it, I was not a master. At that point, there was nothing she was going to get out. But I almost really was going to slip, you know? And I was going to manipulate her, use the fact that I'm a master and my knowledge that she loves to help me out to obtain something egocentric. Now, if I have observed myself this morning, and I found it because I kept my gaze on myself, I stayed conscious. What are you doing? I'm giving you an example of something extremely subtle. Stuff that happens inside you and you're constantly trying to find a way, how am I going to address this? Am I going to talk to my roommates? Am I going to do this and that? And this manipulation power inside you is just constantly shooting impulses inside you for you to just survive nature. You understand this? Breathe. Forgiveness. Now, I'm telling you, you're constantly doing power, control, manipulation. Forgiveness. It's okay. We are built that way to make sure we survive. It's part of the job of a soul, or the process of evolving, of discovering what we are doing. It doesn't mean I won't manipulate anymore. It means most of the time, when I manipulate, I do it intentionally because I know where I'm going. I do manipulate. Shit, my advanced students, they know that. It's manipulation. It's finding ways for people to grow out of a situation. But if I had offered the pure truth, they would have denied it. So I had to adapt and find a way for them to just fall in that and say, wow, that was so cool. I needed that. But they had to go through a suffering. That's called a Dharma king, someone who manages wisdom and evolution. Okay, I don't do this with everyone, just do this with the very advanced people. Let's say there's Brian in the back, that I often say, Brian, come here. Tell us the last thing that you were very ashamed of. And he has to tell his worst secret to a crowd he doesn't know. Okay? Now that's power. That's not manipulation. That's simple. Hey, Brian, come here, do it. You know? Not now. Okay. So sometimes I do act with power, control, manipulation. Because it's the only way to act. Apply force, build a system, or find a way around it. Okay? So the tools that we have are not evil. It's all a question of, are you conscious or not? Are you in denial or in integrity? It's always, you come and ask me, I want to feel more bliss. Well, sometimes I'll find a way to put you in bliss by force. I'll use power. Sometimes I'll do it through an entire weekend. You'll find bliss instead of control. Sometimes I'll manipulate your mind into bliss. I'll find ways. Okay? And then when bliss happens, oh, that's so cool. Thank you, Maha. How did you manage all this complex situation involving like 15 people? Yeah, well, it's my job. What matters is, am I doing this? And now you have to ask yourself, I'm pretending asking myself, I want you to ask yourself, am I doing this to gain something out of it? And it doesn't mean it's wrong. If I am getting something out of it, is the other aware? And does he agree? There's nothing bad in dealing with people. Are they aware of what is going on? And do they agree? Because we have to relate to each other. We're interacting. We have an experience of interdependence always. Work together. Okay? Isolating yourself to avoid attachment will just allow you to die in denial anyway. Or ascend as Buddha if you know how. Of course. So, the thing is the problem is not with the tools, the problem is with denial. Are you lying to the other, or yourself, or both? Oh, I'm not lying to myself. Well, shit, you're lying to the other? I'm not lying to the other. Maybe you're lying to yourself about not lying to the other and yourself. Denial of denial. No, I don't have denial. I'm not afraid. And you're like, oh my God, I hope they don't find out. Nope, no shame there. Yeah, fucking lot of pride to say that you don't have that shame. You know, self-sustaining denials are awful. Anyway, so these tools that you will just label people, oh, he's a persecutor, he's a manipulator, he's this and that. What is wrong in there? What is wrong is people wanting to have some sense of importance out of it. It's egocentrically gaining something of every situation, regardless of the impact on others. And compassion is to be careful of what is the effect on the others. Do they agree? Is it what they want? Sometimes it's not about what they want, but what they really need. I'm doing this for your own good. All right, so what do you know what they really need? It's according to your system, what they are going through. Oh, this manipulation crap is so heavy when you only have your perception of a situation. Doesn't happen sometimes there's other people involved in the situation and you're doing what you think is best for them? Mothers to your children, and actually you are building them a feeling of low esteem, of thinking it's wrong to do this and that. Not you, you're just a crazy mother, but others. No, you still do it. Careful with that. Anyway, we have these interactions with people so much. We're constantly in traps. where we'll just do what we believe is best, but according to our actual experience. And our actual experience is not the way out of suffering, because we still suffer. I'm doing this for your best. You know, I'm your mother. How can you treat me like this? You're a victim. Okay, so I mean, telling your children that they shouldn't do something because it's wrong won't prevent them from doing it. It will just allow them to feel guilty when they actually do, because they want to discover for themselves. Then they are hurt and they said, I should listen to my mother. And of course it works that way. What time is it?
11:40.
All right. Breathe, relax, contemplate, and get the food in. Yes.